He's got a great enthusiasm for what he's doing. As soon as he got on the gallop then, you know, he felt like he grew a few inches, but he was on springs. He's a very lucky boy. I bet Lizzie, he looks after him very well, and he's very sound and he's got great movement.
This week on A Ride With, ahead of the Randox Grand National, we are going for a ride with previous Grand National winner Pineau De Re, and we've flown in the jockey this time. Leighton Aspell has been reunited with Pinot. What's it like to be back on?
Oh, it's great to be back on him, yeah. Very, very different circumstances. Lovely day.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, so you've flown in for a ride back on Pineau De Re. Now,
Pinot, yeah.
What? He's a big part of your life, I imagine, in your career, because he was your first ever Grand National winner. Strange that I have to say the word first Grand National winner rather than only.
You know, I got around on a few. I got a few falls like everybody else, but and then this fella came along in 2014. Richard was a little bit unsure about the trip. It's every jockey's dream instruction is to take your time.
And this time they're off.
And I was happy to do that and just to get to know Pinot as we went along.
As I head down towards Foynaven, it's across the bay.
You know, for one whole circuit, I had a wonderful ride. It got a bit messy on the second circuit, but with a few little mistakes here and there. But he was always in that beautiful forward-going gear.
And Pineau De Re is tracking the package
over that trip as well. It makes the jockey's life a lot easier, where we can just try to position him with a bit of daylight at the fences. You know, I'm not pushing him along, looking for big jumps to hold my position. He was always going forward on the landing side of all his fences.
Pineau De Re making ground, so to his hunt ball.
But he did make some pretty bad mistakes. But as you said, he was always going well. You know, he made some.
He always knew.
You know, he almost braced
the fence. He always knew where his feet were.
Yeah,
it really did. We might get under some fences on the second circuit, but he was always landing. You know, always knew where his feet were and getting away from his fence as well. And I just had to sit tight and make sure that I was in the correct position on landing too. My fella's lovely and quiet. Lovely and quiet.
This always happens to me. This always happens to me.
I think we should stay there for hours. You begin to find your position on the second circuit. Maybe I think Richard probably thought I was probably getting a little bit closer sooner than he liked, but he was just taking me there. And then once sort of you get over the canal turn the second time, you know, I was in a lovely slot there behind the leaders.
Pineau De Re, Rose of the Moon, was a faller when just beginning to struggle.
Of course, I had the trip in the back of my mind, and all the way along that line of 5 fences, I could just hold them together. And then once we're over the third last, I'm upsize Rocky Creek, but you know, I could just sit on him and fill him up all the way then on that nice long turn.
Rocky Creek with Pineau De Re in a white jacket joining him.
To jump the second last and last in the middle, and I really let him gallop at them, and he flew them. I've got some brilliant pictures of him over the last 2 fences. Really good.
That was when you finally said go?
Oh yeah. And then, you know, let him down. You're not going to accelerate it from the back of the last, but you know you're just going to gallop out and really see your race out. And you know, he was very, very fit, and he was very in very good form.
A 7th ride in the race for Leighton Aspell will be a winning ride as Pineau De Re wins the National.
He's come to life. He's a lovely walk around the paddocks there, but now he's seen the white rails and he's got on the gallop, and he knows, you know, he's getting his game face on now. Suddenly he doesn't feel so small. He's actually grown a couple of inches. He's really on the bridle now. He's got a really bouncy trot. He feels like a horse. I could jump well. It's amazing how sometimes you can get on a horse and just from the trotting paces or the cantering paces, you get a sense that you think, I bet this fella can jump. I bet this fella's got, you know, springs on him or springs in him.
How was that?
Really good. You know, he's got his ears pricked, forward going. Doesn't want to go too fast, but he's got a great enthusiasm for what he's doing. That's how he felt when I schooled him, and then when I rode him at entry. He's a very lucky boy. But Lizzie, he looks after him very well, and he's very sound, and he's got great movement, you know, for a fellow of his age.
Does it bring back memories? Do you have a kind of a muscle memory of what he felt like?
Well, yes, of course. Just the way he's going forward, like he cantered through that gap there in the middle, and there's people on the left and people on the right, and he never once took his eye off the gallop or what, you know, what's going on in front. I'm in my 46th year now, so I was 43 then, and you know, I've been a professional jockey for 27 years. You know, that's a lot of miles on the clock. I did love the life as a jockey, from the morning walk with the trainers to all the preparation and the build up, and then of course the race days. I've had, you know, thousands of rides, and you know, more than many people would have, but you know, I've been a very lucky man. I got the coaching qualification while I was still riding, and then the job opportunity came up at Race in Ireland. And
so what is Race? Just explain it to us.
Well, Race is the Racing Academy Centre of Excellence. It opened in Ireland in 1974, and it's grown and grown and grown, and it's basically it's the equivalent of the British Racing School. It's a very rewarding job, and you know, we get lots of great people through the gates.
And what about, you know, the thoroughbreds? You look at Pinot now, like, he looks amazing. He's 19. He's clearly been incredibly well looked after, still incredibly well looked after. How much love do you have for the thoroughbred as an animal?
100%. My whole life, you know, since I was a teenager, my whole working life, it's been around thoroughbreds. And me, my new role, you know, we have horses there in their 20s, and you know, without Race, and now we have all the, you know, horses like Pinot for, you know, the ROR, and you know, all the retired horses, all the different classes now, and the different options that they have. You know, it's been a great thing for these horses to you know, to get involved in. You know, if they're very lucky to have people like Lizzie and you know, other people that will give them a second career, but also, you know, a very good home.
How was that?
Oh, that was fantastic. I could ride this fella for hours. You know, you just sat here, and he's just taking me along.